Welcome to the Tutor to You Sociology topic video on culture and identity, looking at the formation of male identities. There is not one singular male identity in the 21st century, yet individuals often ascribe certain characteristics to being part of a male or female identity and create crude stereotypes of how people portray both men and women. Hayward and Mackengale argue that masculinity is a social construction and can vary from one society to the next and present itself in different forms throughout society. The idea of maleness or masculinity can be argued to intersect with age, social class, ethnicity and sexuality. And in this video we're going to focus on how male identities are formed and how they are shaped by social institutions. The family as an agent of primary socialization has a big impact on the formation of male identities. From a functionalist viewpoint, Parsons suggests that males are socialized into an instrumental role, one that is focused on being a provider and instilling discipline. However, Parsons does acknowledge that male socialization is far from ideal, given that young boys will observe their father's behaviour at home but not at work, and so often their socialization into gender roles is incomplete compared to girls who observe their mothers most of the time. From a feminist view, Oakley suggests that the process of gender socialization incorporates boys being channeled towards traditionally masculine pursuits through the process of canalization. They're given construction toys and cars, which reinforce their future position in society. They are also manipulated into acting like little men, and are given more active pursuits that reflect the stereotypical nature of masculinity. However, this is changing. Gershony suggests that males in the home are taking on more responsibility for domestic tasks than in the past, and fathers are showing more empathy towards their children, which leads to boys doing the same. The role of fatherhood has changed from when Oakley and Parsons were writing, and this is reflected in male identity formation in contemporary society. Education as an agent of secondary socialization also plays a role in shaping male identities. Education is argued to have become more feminized in recent decades, and this has led to more boys rejecting education for fear of being ostracized by their peers. Peer interactions within education are vitally important in the formation of identity, and much research has been developed into the ways in which boys interact with one another and how they reject education and develop anti-school subcultures. Willis's The Lads, Ward's The Boys, and Mackengale's Macho Lads are examples of how these anti-education subcultures form to reward boys with status for rejecting education. However, these anti-school subcultures are just one form of identity that boys can have, with both Ward and Mackengale finding alternative forms of subculture that boys would join. Ward found geek subcultures where boys would engage in reading comic books, writing poetry and playing games rather than react in an anti-school manner. Mackengale found new enterprises in his study that innovated rather than rebelled against education. Often the focus on boys in education centres on deviant behaviours, yet this is only one reaction, and boys will develop more diverse subcultures within their time in education. Often discussion of male identity in the media centres on the works of Raybon Connell and Hegemonic Masculinity. Connell and James Messerschmitt identified the concept of a dominant form of masculinity that is represented in the media and how this shapes male behaviours. The tough yet silent action figure promoted to men that they should be stoic in the face of threats or crises, they should be innovative and take risks, and they should be domineering and autocratic in leading others. This image leads boys to see men like this as leaders and either gravitate towards these characters or look to imitate them, and this includes showing domination over other males and females. This media stereotype has been seen as dangerous, not only to others but to men themselves, as it discourages discussion of mental health issues and encourages risk-taking behaviours as a form of catharsis from internal struggles. Although, as with many other ideas, this is changing, and males are being encouraged more in the media to address issues surrounding their mental health. When looking at male identities, it's important not to be drawn into specific stereotypes. According to Connell, male identity is diverse and full of contradictions, and in stereotyping or labelling behaviour as typical of all men is dangerous in itself. Both in the media and in wider society, there is a constant re-evaluation of what it is to be male, and seeing some traditionally masculine characteristics as desirable. For example, being a provider, assertive and hard-working, yet merging these with empathy and sensitivity. The male role is changing, as Beck identified, with more males defining themselves by their relationships than their occupations. The uncertainty that surrounds employment has been replaced as part of their identity with the certainty of fatherhood. Being a father is a lifelong commitment, whereas a job is changeable and precarious. However, others, such as Mack and Guile, have suggested that male identities are less certain in contemporary society, as males struggle to find their place and know what is expected of them, creating a crisis of masculinity that many sociologists look to understand. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on the formation of male identities. Thanks for watching.